Hello to you all, my dear friends. In today's video, I would like to talk about the amazing art media pastel. A little bit of general knowledge and some help in understanding different types of pastel and which one should you choose. With pastel, you can create lots of different styles of work, from an easy, loose style drawings to a very fine and detailed paintings. There are lots of different types of pastels, and I will go through the main types with you today. The most popular are the dry pastels, which comes in few different types. Look, this is soft pastel. When this type of pastel is produced, there is a higher proportion of pigment and less binder is used. That's why it's called soft. It is actually quite soft and sometimes quite easily crumbles and breaks when working with it. But saying so, it will depend on manufacturer as well. Some of the soft pastels are not as crumbly and feels harder than the other ones. Great thing about the soft pastel is the vibrance and the richness of the color. Lovely blending qualities, but it is not so good with the smaller details. The next one would be the hard pastel sticks. When these pastels are made, the proportion of binder is higher and the proportion of the pigment is less. And as a result, the sticks are much firmer and not as easy to break. As well as with the soft pastel, the hardness will vary depending on the manufacturer. The color vibrance of these hard pastels usually are not as rich as with the soft pastels, but they work really well with the smaller details. Next one to talk about are pastel pencils. I just love them. Sometimes tricky to sharpen, especially with a sharpener, because they can break easily. So I usually use the safety knife, some good quality safety knife, and make sure it's a sharp, not a blunt one. So, but just be careful when you do this. Fantastic for the fine details, great blending and color vibrance, slightly different softness depending on the brand. Right, the next one are pan pastels. Great invention of 21st century. It's fantastic stuff. It's great for underlayer and backgrounds. It has got great blending and it is a time saver. Sometimes I'm using it for outlines of my future artwork since I know it is quite easy to blend it in. These dry pastels I discussed work really well together when you're creating the painting. Quite different type of pastel are oil pastels. The pastel had been invented as an improvement of wax crayons, and when it is manufactured as well as pigment and binder, it has got non-drying oil or wax added to it, and that's why the oil pastel paintings are never completely dried out. Another interesting type of pastel is water-soluble pastel, which can create a beautiful watercolor effect and would work lovely in combination with other type of pastels. Well, now, how should you protect your pastel artwork? A lot of times fixative is used by the artist, and I do it occasionally as well, depending on the type of a paper. But even with the fixative, your pastel artwork have to be protected. If you would like to keep your pastel artwork safe, they have to be properly mounted and framed using a proper glass frame. The surface of your artwork shouldn't touch the glass. It all sounds great, but what should you do if you have got too many of your pastel artworks? So, of course, you can keep them unframed. In this case, you need to store them by covering the top with slick glazing paper and make sure that it is firmly fixed, so it is not sliding over your artwork. I also would recommend to put some kind of board on the top to protect your painting. And last but not least, You need to keep in mind that in some cases, pastel can produce lots of dust, which can cause respiratory health problems. So it is a good idea not to try and blow the pastel dust off while working, even if the temptation is huge. I use a hairdryer and face mask when doing this, and maybe you need to think about investing in an air purifier. Well, that will be all for today, and hopefully it was nice and easy and help you to build a general knowledge about this wonderful art media, as well as inspiring you to give it a try. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.